Welcome to Dr. Kannan Pugarendi's channel. Why does Spark gives us this advice of not using a sofa? Okay, now you need to understand that whenever you sit in a sofa, the height of the knee and the height of the hip, you need to understand in most of the sofas the possibility of the hip going lower than the height of the knee. If this happens, automatically the changes in the hip and the knee are adjusting to your requirement. Depending on the height of the person, the limb length, the taller you are, it's going to be more difficult for the muscles to keep you upright. So after a period of time, just saw the young man sitting beside, you realize that you will tend to move this way and increase this height and going down at the hip level. Height of the knee going up, hip going lower. And if this happens, you will tend to tilt your pelvis back. This is the pelvis and it tilts back, and ensure that the spine is also curved, and ensure that the whole body comes forward and your shoulders protracted, the neck tilted to have your eye focused, one of the eyes focused on seeing what you want to see. These changes are not in a single day, not in a single month, but it may take years before the pain can start. So we don't see this as an injurious one. So my suggestion is, I don't say don't sit on the bed. I don't say that. But if you can minimize the duration that you sit, especially when you are not aware of the way you sit, possibility of the sofa being one of the patronizers of a doctor's visiting room, I think you can avoid it. The most important aspect in all this, whenever you sat down in a low sofa, a cushion being more and very comfortable, and there is also a edge of the sofa pressing on the thigh, possibility of this changing the blood supply to this region, and you'll be surprised to know the footwear that you're wearing, when you left that footwear and wore it again after a period of sitting, you'll find the feet are swollen more than the normal, because this part is compressing and preventing the blood return back to the body and the lymphatic flow. If not the blood, the lymphatic flow alone is sufficient to produce the swelling. And these are unavoidable issues which can prevent you from taking a doctor's visit. And the shorter the muscles in the front, the longer the muscles at the back, exactly the opposite of it is required when you want to stand up. So people complain, sir, when I get up from the bed or the mat or the sofa, I found I am like this. To get up and stand, you need to come out. Most of us sitting down here cannot come out, means it is not normal. So what do we do when you sit in a sofa? The first movement is to move to the edge, and then only you can come out. So you need to understand that if you can sit lower and you can come out, it is not possible. If you sit at a height wherein you are able to get out of that, requires such an amount of effort if it is lower. So as you find your job is also seated throughout the day, they can join in connivance with each other and thereby predispose you to a back pain, knee pain, or pain in the foot or the calf muscle All these are changes that has happened over a long period, never as an event. They are subtle processes that are ignored or not aware of. So you need to make sure that when you sit for a long time, where you're watching something, reading something, or talking to people, and the number of hours that you need to sit is going to be longer, I would choose still sitting down to do on the floor, so it's much comfortable. Whereas a short time discussion, talk, anything, where you can be aware of the changes that are happening to you, then the sofa may not be so injurious. But always I would prefer to sit down than to sit up here, wherein if I am tired, if I have not slept for a long time, if I played a sport, if I am doing any physical activity like a trek, I come back and I find the sofa is very comfortable and I sit down. The next morning back pain is blamed not on this equipment but on the walk. Walking is normal, even an uneven terrain or even a trek is not abnormal or not demanding so much from the body than these ones which appear so comfortable and seem to have very minimal opportunity to cause pain. Between the two, I would say this is more injurious than an unaccustomed trek, because most of them while doing the trek they never had a pain. But sitting on the sofa, when they develop a pain after many years, they would never even know that these ones are capable of making changes that are not beneficial, that are deleterious and cause pain. Here is my advice to you. I never said don't sit on a sofa. I didn't say that. I just said whenever you can be lost in your thoughts or when there is a high stress while you are watching, avoid the sofa. So it is very clear that I may sit too as I am sitting and talking to you, but I am aware of my posture, ensuring that I am going to lean with extra cushions and ensure that I would move out of it every 15 minutes or half an hour to come back and take another position beside, not to sit on the same place every day. This is another common thing in families where they find a person who uses the sofa will always sit in the same place. Thereby the weight distribution and the destruction of the springs that are under or the elastic components that are going to be loaded the same way without any changes would also cause damage to the sofa much earlier. So another person who sits in the sofa only will know the changes are in the sofa, not in this individual. So should be a common practice for most of us to sit at different places in the sofa, not sit in the same place. Okay, and that can also ensure various other parts of the body are also optimally loaded and trained. So here's my simple advice to you is don't sit in the same place in the sofa, and when you sit beyond a certain time, try to shift that position to another part of the sofa so that the cushioning which has gone through from elastic into a plastic stage can be avoided, and you move to the next one so that you will find you have used the sofa evenly. Otherwise, the uneven use of the sofa is another problem for most of us. Thank you.